Hello, Mesa Verde. We are going to start our league season a bit early this year after talking with Jeremy and some interest that's also been expressed to me by some of the managers. We decided to release the spreadsheet now, even though we're still 6 weeks away from the draft. If you want to trade players and picks, you can start doing that now. The reasons for that are, I think there's a lot of excitement right now because this has already been a very interesting off season for the NFL. People are locked in even though it's March and the season doesn't start till September. So we didn't want to hold people back from that excitement. With that said, my reservation was that I also don't want to irritate people. So if you're not ready to draft or think about draft or trade picks, you can just let the person who is trying to trade with you, just let them know, hey, I'm not really ready yet. I'll get in touch with you a couple days toward the end of April. We're all adults. We could all handle that, I think. So we'll talk about the spreadsheet briefly because you all know how to use it. And then I just want to talk to you about one thing you'll be voting on this spring as well. So a couple things about the sheet here. Here's the order. Here's the guides. Here's our rosters from the end of last season. I think you know how to use this thing pretty well. A couple things that have changed. Number one, Eric and Lindsay, I switched your colors on the spreadsheet. The reason I did is I kept getting confused when I was constructing the sheet this year. Last year, Lindsay was this teal color and Eric was red and white. When you guys picked your team logos for the league, Lindsay picked a red and white standing Buffalo Bills helmet, and Eric chose the Yahoo issued helmet, but it's teal. So I kept getting it mixed up on the sheet, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to change it on the sheet. So Lindsay and Eric, if it's okay with you, Lindsay, from this point forward, you'll be red and white. Eric, you're going to be teal. It'll better match the colors that you have in the league. Another thing, we usually start the Saturday after, our draft starts the Saturday after the NFL draft starts. I think that will be the case moving forward, but what happened this year is back in September, I reserved a cabin to take my wife and kids away to for a weekend in the springtime. I just wanted something to look forward to because I knew we were heading into winter. And this cabin had like every weekend in spring possibly available, and I just absentmindedly clicked on the last weekend in April. I'm like, that'll be nice. Good time to get away. And then a couple months ago, it occurred to me that where we're going, we have no cell coverage. That would be the weekend our draft starts. I anticipate there might be movement of picks and players. People will probably be trying to email me or text their screenshots of their transactions, and they're going to get zero response because I'll be completely out of cell service. So went on to that cabin website, tried to change the dates, but everything was filled up before and after because by now many months had gone by. So my next best option was actually just to change the start date of the draft this year. So we're going to start on Monday, April 29th. I will be available on that day. That day we are driving home from the mountains. So I think that if you text me something, Saturday, Sunday, or even early Monday, you might not get a reply. But by the time Monday mid-morning hits, I should be available. But we have the sheet now, so I feel like most trades can happen, hopefully, ahead of that weekend so that there's no real issues with that. These guides here, right now, they're a bit incomplete because we're not close enough to the draft. I will update them as the organizations that publish them update them. I'm not sure how many people use these. I think most people in this league have their own resources. They have their own websites that they use for ranking. But if you do use these, if you click on them now, they might seem a little bare bones, but they'll flesh out a bit as we get closer to the draft, and I'll be sure to update the links so that they reflect that. Our end of the season rosters are right here, so if you've forgotten who was on your team or what your team's needs might be, they're all right here, so you can just find your team, take a look at your roster, figure out what areas you might want to target heading into the draft, and it's also helpful for trading too. So if there's a player on another team or if someone's trying to trade with you and you want to take a look at what players are on their team so you can see who you might be able to get from them, it's all right there. Our picks for trading are right here. Newly released 2026 picks are available to trade. Our time frames are here. Notice we don't have the morning, afternoon, evening one. That was just for last year because of our expansion situation. So we're back to 4 rounds, where the first 2 rounds, you get a whole day to make your pick. And then after that, we start going with a morning pick and an afternoon/evening pick. Okay. I think that's it for the draft. You guys can let me know if you have questions about that. The thing that you will be voting on this spring is right when I set up the league, I based the draft order off of your regular season finish, and I did that based on an opinion I have, and you don't need to have the same opinion, but an opinion I have that I disagree with how the NFL does their draft order. They give the Super Bowl winner the last pick in the draft. So if you win the Super Bowl, you're picking number 32. If you played in the Super Bowl and lost, you're picking number 31, and then so on up. I personally don't agree with that. For example, when the New York Giants, this is in like the mid 2000s, they went on a tear in the playoffs. They beat the Brett Favre Vikings. I think they beat I don't know who they beat. They tore everyone up. They were a wild card team. They tore up and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. They beat the Patriots. Now they're picking last in the first round, and I remember thinking at that time that really wasn't fair, because why are they being penalized for getting hot during the playoffs and winning? I felt like, if anything, the Patriots and the Packers should have been penalized for letting the wild card Giants beat them in their home stadiums. So that was my opinion. So that when I made the league, I made it so that it was based on your regular season finish. So if you look at this, it's been this way each year that we've been playing. Jesse won our championship last year. You see he's picking 10th. Now, is his team inferior to mine? No. I mean, I think it's actually better than mine, but even still, that's what it's based on. Now, there are people in the league, including even like our co-commissioner, and it's not me versus him, this is just a general feeling, that say, well, if you're the champion, you're the champion. Like, so Jesse, for example, should be picking 12th, and whoever wins the championship should be picking last. So we should base it off of the standings as the season ends, not the regular season, but the whole season, and do it similar to what the NFL does. So the thing I'm going to ask you to choose is, do we want the standings to stay with, it's based on your regular season finish, and then if you do well in the playoffs, well then bravo. Or do we want the standings to reflect the overall finish, including the championship? And please don't let my opinion flavor your opinion. I want your opinions, and I'll live with whatever. I'm fine. But that's what we're asking you to vote on, or what we will be asking you to vote on, because it would change the order of the draft, and hence the value of the picks moving forward if we were to change it. And that would probably start, well, actually it would start with this coming year. I think that's everything. If you guys have any questions about the draft, about what I'm asking you to vote on, about rosters or anything, please feel free to get in touch with me. And again, please, if you don't want to start this right now, if your mind is not on football, if March and early April is a time that you are still part of your stepping away from this time, please just let people know. I'm sure we would all respect it. If you're gung-ho and ready to get in there, then let's start working on some trades. I'm hoping too that maybe with more time, we might get even better trades, because we might have more time to actually work on them and think about them. I know it's a busy time of year for a lot of us. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks so much for being awesome managers. I felt like last year was great in the sense that Lindsay and Eric did better than I thought they would as expansion teams. And there really wasn't anyone I played in any given week that I felt like, this one's a lock, I'm going to win. Every team is competitive or else actively working on becoming competitive. And it just makes for a great atmosphere. So thank you all for playing. Let me know if you have any questions, and looking forward to the draft.